are now listening to The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys. The Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys is a John Mitchell story and is brought to you by Cine Downloads. Narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Previously on the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.
If you give us 550 grand, I will give you 50 grand of that in a little brown envelope and put it in your pocket. No, I've told the City Council we'll be going in next week, and that is what's going to happen.
So we do nothing but put up with Steve and his stupid bullshit?
That is the only options we have.
Now the next part of the story. Episode 17. An agitated Cockwang has returned to the training room and is giving the induction presentation to a new batch of recruits. These are the three Goths, the reporter, and Dubmaster Swift. So far, the induction has been a brief introduction to the temple and its mission to solve the humanitarian crisis engulfing the city. The three Goths are already daydreaming, and the reporter is busy taking notes whilst recording everything on his phone. Dubmaster Swift is in conversation on his own phone and is oblivious to the induction. Cock proceeds to a PowerPoint presentation which talks about secrecy and non-disclosure forms. He tells of how the mission in the city is extremely sensitive, and its real purpose has to be kept confidential. If they wish to continue to be employed by the temple, then they must sign non-disclosure forms. Any breach of confidentiality will result in them being sued for an astronomical amount. He hands these forms out to the recruits and waits to see if they sign or walk out. The three Goths quietly confer with each other before agreeing to sign the forms. The reporter starts to sweat as he thinks what to do. He needs to know what's going on here so that he can tell the world. But he doesn't want to get sued for doing it. Oh, it's a giant risk for him and a potential turning point in his career. He signs it with a shaking hand. Dubmaster Swift, however, signs the form without even knowing what it is. He doesn't even come off his phone to do it. Cock carefully takes all the signed forms and places them on his desk before moving on to the next page in his presentation. This page is titled simply with the words, The Truth. The reporter's eyes go wide with excitement. On this page is a picture of a sad-looking human with the word refugee beneath it. Next to this picture is a six-headed tortoise with a centipede's body. Underneath this picture is the word demon. The recruits look at all this with interest. Cock explains the picture.
Recruits, it's time you know the truth. The crisis in the city has nothing to do with refugees. There are no refugees. There never were any refugees. Forget everything they told you on the television and on the internet. None of that is true. It is all a lie, a big cover-up. The situation in the city has been caused by something else entirely. That something is demons.
The reporter jumps up from his seat with excitement.
I knew it. I knew it. Screw you, Tiffany fucking Towers, with your blatant, obvious cover-up. I knew this was a whitewash all along.
He looks around at his fellow recruits to see what their reactions are. The three Goths are trying hard to look surprised. Swift is still on his phone. He hasn't noticed what they're talking about. The reporter stares at the Goths before shouting at them.
Demons! It's demons! This is actual confirmation that it is a massive cover-up.
The Goths respond.
Yeah. Demons.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah,
That's unusual.
demons.
Why aren't you more shocked about this? This is incredible.
Demands the reporter.
Are you sure it's demons?
Yeah, we haven't seen any demons, ever.
That's true, we don't even know what one looks like.
What are you talking about? There were mass protests outside the demon camp. They went on a riot. They burnt the city to the ground. You must have seen them.
The Goths look at each other while pretending not to know.
So you guys didn't see any giant ants or squid skunks covered in slime?
No, I don't remember seeing that.
Well, how about the fire-breathing skeletal chickens?
No, can't remember those.
The ice-riding wolf men made of light?
Nope, sorry. No recollection of those.
Well, what exactly do you remember?
I remember some people running.
I saw someone fall over and hurt their leg.
I saw someone reading a book.
I don't believe it. You guys have been brainwashed by the media. You've fallen for the conspiracy, and now you're just brain-numbed zombies.
The reporter looks over at Swift and tries to get his attention.
Hey you, trendy guy. What do you think about all of this?
Swift holds his finger up to quieten him while he finishes his phone conversation.
Hey there, is this the manager of Café d'Anvers in Antwerp? Yeah, that's cool. This is Master Swift following up my call about a residency at your club. Just so you know, I'm still fresh and fine, like sparkling wine. Ask yourselves, do you want my fantastic power play pumping all over your DJ decks? Oh, you don't? Okay, bye.
He ends the conversation and looks up at the reporter, who is standing in front of him with staring eyes.
Sorry, dude. I was taking care of business. So anyway, what about the refugee chickens or something?
It's not chickens, it's demons. It's always been demons. Tell me you knew it was demons.
I don't know anything about that. I'm just here to look good, helping refugees or something.
There are no refugees. He just told us that in the presentation. It's just demons.
If there are no refugees, then what the fuck am I doing here? I need to be getting my career back on track by helping those losers.
Swift's phone rings and he answers it.
Hey there! It's good to hear from you. Do you guys need a bad boy deck smasher ripping up your sound system? A Pied Piper of electric techno, bass booming and dropping, unrelenting oblivion on your ultra-shattering psyches. You don't? Oh, okay. Maybe another time then?
He ends the phone call and looks up at the reporter again.
Hey, that was Tougher nightclub in Rotterdam. They told me to piss off.
So do you know this was all a conspiracy? Are you aware that there are no refugees and it's just demons? Did the media brainwash you too?
Look, you spectacle-wearing weird fuck. I can't get a gig at any club in Europe. No one wants to hear my frantic deck antics and bad news. And my career is in the gutter. So right now, I'm here to bag some cash to keep the audio exploits rolling for another day. If these Chinese dudes want me here to beat up refugees, punch chickens or whatever, then sign me up. I don't care as long as I get paid.
The reporter is aghast and sits back down. Cox sees this as his cue to continue the induction. Before he can start, Swift interrupts him.
Hey, Specky!
The reporter looks over again.
I do remember seeing a 6-armed baby panda that might have been a demon.
The reporter cracks into a big smile.
Yes, that sounds like a demon.
Yeah, but I also remember taking a shit ton of coke, ketamine, and temazepam that morning, so it could have been anything.
The reporter shakes his head with annoyance and turns back round to listen to Cock. Cock waits until he's sure everyone is quiet and then continues his presentation. He tells of how the demons have taken over the city centre, and their job is to remove them by force. They'll be using enchanted weapons to fight them, and then enchanted vessels to trap them. Once trapped, they'll be brought back to base to be catalogued and stockpiled before final banishment back to hell. He tells them that there's a delay on the enchantments, and the weaponry they have available is substandard at the moment. so they'll be adapting to the situation as it develops. They'll be starting this mission tomorrow with the first forays into the demon zone to gather information for tactical analysis. They'll now move into the main hall, where they'll be shown how to defend themselves with garden forks and shovels, as they're not allowed to use brooms. The training with the garden implements was soon over. It seemed to consist of swinging the instruments around while trying not to hit the person next to them. They weren't allowed to use a pallet truck to hypothetically transport unconscious demons, so they have been told to use shopping trolleys instead, if they can be found. The reporter is now back inside his toilet, sitting in a cubicle. His weedy arms are sore from lifting the garden instruments, and his head is sore from being accidentally hit around the head with a shovel by an over-enthusiastic Goth. However, he doesn't notice this discomfort, as he's too excited by all he has seen and done today. He has a notebook and furiously writes everything down. His concentration is broken when he hears some footsteps splashing around in the flooded toilet water on the floor. He knows that no one else has entered the toilet through the main door, as it creaks when it opens, and there was no creak before he heard these new noises. He puts his notebook down on the cistern behind him and carefully pushes the cubicle door open an inch or so. He peers through this gap and is surprised to see two very tall figures dressed in red robes, complaining about the flooded water.
I hope this isn't piss. The bottom of my robe is soaked through.
This is disgusting. Why did we have to come to this hellhole toilet?
I'm rather annoyed. The chief executive of the council was traced to this address earlier, and we've been waiting for him in this piss swamp for 5 hours.
5 hours of stinky piss based on a rumour.
If this rumour is indeed true that he's allowing a demon protest march through the city, then I'll be doubly upset with him.
Indeed. I shall double your double and be quadruply upset with him.
The reporter's eyes widen as he eavesdrops their conversation. His mind races. Who are they? Is this demon march a real thing? Why are they in the toilets? The two whining figures splash past his cubicle and beyond his sight.
A demon march would completely ruin all of our work. It would draw the world's attention here.
Yes, he's most thoughtless with this.
I suppose, if it is indeed true, then Bruce will finally have someone to keep him company. He does get frightfully lonely.
Let's try another toilet. Maybe we'll get lucky and find him this time.
Yes, let's do that. This toilet is utterly rancid.
Yes, intensely vile and repellent.
The splashing stops and everything goes quiet. The reporter carefully opens his cubicle door and peers around to see where the two figures are. They have both disappeared. There was no creak from the door. He leaves his cubicle and walks around the toilet looking for them, checking all the other cubicles, but no, they've gone. He tries the door to see if the creaking has been fixed by someone, but when he opens and closes the door, there is the same familiar creak. Confused, he goes back into his cubicle and sits again on his toilet while he thinks about what he has witnessed. The three Goths wait until no one is looking before they slip inside a barely used side room. Making sure that they're being quiet, they take out a mobile phone and contact Efuhofcn. It isn't long before the demon answers. The Goths can barely contain their excitement and have put the phone on speakerphone so that they can all speak to the demon.
Ah, my precious triumvirate of femininity. What news do you have from the temple?
Asks Efuhofcn. Ralph feverishly replies,
Lord of Hell, we have some great information for you. The temple will attack the demon zone next week.
Next week? That's incredibly early. How will the attack be fought? Using magical enchanted items, I presume.
Not at all, your hellship lordship. They will be using garden shovels and forks.
Garden shovels and forks.
The demon thinks hard for a moment.
They're either strikingly brave or astonishingly stupid. I've never heard of the temple doing such a thing like that before. It is extremely unusual. Maybe the people running the temple are not of the high caliber as those we have fought in the past. Or maybe it's a trick. What I want you three to do is to continue your spying mission. Use your womanly wiles to gain a deeper understanding of these tactics and report back to me at once.
We shall indeed, our masterful overlord of unspeakable filth and cruelty.
Womanly wiles? I'm getting pissed off with him, always saying we're girls. What's his malfunction?
Remarks Melvin to Floyd.
Shh, you idiot, we're on speakerphone.
Hisses Ralph. Melvin is shocked and tries to recover the situation.
Oh, my prince. We'll put our lipstick on, grab our handbags, and burn our bras until we find out the truth.
That is more like it,
answers Efuhofcn.
I was worried for a second as I got a whiff of rebellion.
No.
The Goths all shout.
There's definitely no smelly rebellion here, my lord,
says Ralph.
That's very good to hear. Because, Melvin, if I hear that Ralph question me again calling you girls, it will be a very painful end for her.
What? No, I'm Ralph. It was Melvin who said it, not me.
No, I didn't. I didn't tell lies. It was you, Ralph.
Melvin, you're the one telling lies.
Master, they both said it, and I'm the only one who didn't.
Adds Floyd.
Shut up,
Shut up, Floyd.
Both Melvin and Ralph say at the same time. Efuhofcn laughs loudly, which makes the three Goths fall silent.
Now, pay attention. During the attack, if the three of you are present, you will be afforded immunity from danger due to wearing my seal on your faces. No demon will harm you, unless, of course, you were to attack a demon first. If that happens, then you are all considered fair game, and my protection will not help you.
That sounds wonderful, my lord. However, if during the attack, if we don't join in with the fighting, then the temple may smell a rat. They will think it odd if we don't help them fight. It could blow our cover.
Yes, very true. Then during the attack, the three of you shall start hitting each other with shovels instead. It is better for you to look like cretins than traitors.
Yes, my lord. We will hit each other with shovels,
replies Ralph. The three Goths groan and look wearily at each other. Efuhofcn puts away his phone and looks around for Duofig. Where's that overgrown Doberman, he thinks. He goes outside to find Duofig, busily punching a tree for no apparent reason.
Efuhofcn, can I speak to you for a moment?
I punched a tree!
Yes, you did. Well done. Now, come here. We have things to discuss.
Duofig goes over and Efuhofcn excitedly tells him everything that he was told by the Goths. Duofig listens to the whole story, then nods along as he talks. His attention, however, has been drifting over Efuhofcn's shoulder to a tree in the background, which looks as though it might be taunting him in some way. He snarls at the tree, then remembers he's supposed to be listening to Efuhofcn, and starts randomly nodding again.
This is a fantastic opportunity for us, Efuhofcn. We will know exactly how and when they are coming. We can set a trap for the temple, which would allow us to score a victory over them in battle. When the other demons see us defeat them, they will be excited and awestruck at our astute leadership. They will come crawling back to us one by one until we have an army again. Then, with an army, we can strike back at the rebels and take control of all the demons. It all starts here, with this attack by the temple.
Duofig nods.
But what I don't understand is why they should come at us with garden forks and shovels.
Dwarfig looks at him quizzically.
They're going to attack us with garden forks and shovels?
Yes, Efuhofcn. I told you this about 5 minutes ago. Haven't you been listening?
Dwarfig is suddenly nervous at being rumbled.
Of course I have to listen. Maybe they are bringing them because they are not here to fight, but they is to do some gardenings.
What? Ah. I see. You think they want to do some gardening. Maybe they are coming to do that. They could be coming to regenerate the demon city by planting things.
Would they be planting trees?
Well, yes. I would presume they would be.
Bastard trees!
Spits Dwarfig. Efuhofcn's a little distracted by this outburst, and waits for a moment before replying.
Oh, okay. Upon further reflection, I think that gardening is somewhat unlikely, and there is some kind of unknown power to their garden instruments. We should be careful how we proceed. I shall ask my little spies in the temple to find out more information about this. Now, we will need to recruit some of our old followers to begin our army and battle the temple next week. We will need the most loyal of our older troops. Let us go and find them.
Dwarfig nods again and follows Efuhofcn, who leaves the lair and walks out into the demon zone. They walk for some time through the rubble and debris. They pass numerous demons. Some are bored and some are excited about this union business and how it may mean an improvement in their lives. Efuhofcn looks at these excited demons with contempt and walks on searching for his former allies. He soon finds them. They have come together to form a gang, and they are watching as he approaches. As he draws near, the leader walks towards them and the others follow. Efuhofcn and Dwarfig stop. The leader speaks.
This is our rubble area. If you want safe passage, you have to give us some rubble, so we can add to our rubble pile. We have the biggest pile of rubble in the demon zone.
Efuhofcn looks around at the rubble and then at the gang, who proudly stand amongst it all.
Yes, it is indeed an impressive collection of rubble. But we're not here to pass. We only wish to recruit you and your gang to our cause. It would be very worth your while.
You want to recruit us? I don't think so. Who are you?
The leader asks accusingly, and the other gang members come closer. Efuhofcn watches them approach.
I am your old king, and you shall do as I ask.
The leader looks him up and down.
My old king? What are you talking about? Have you been smoking dried centaur testicles?
The gang members start laughing.
I am Efuhofcn, and this is Efuhofcn.
Efuhofcn speaks firmly.
And you will submit to my authority.
I don't know who you are, and I don't like your tone. Efuhofcn was a great king, and I should smash you up for insulting his memory.
The other gang members start to circle the two intruders. Dwarfig watches them warily while clenching his fists. Efuhofcn steps closer to the leader and speaks in a hissed voice.
I am who I say I am. I will show you my true form, and when I do, you will submit.
The leader hears this and his eyes narrow. Efuhofcn steps back and grimaces as he forces his body to change. Muscle tears and rips itself apart, and his bones crack and break as they move under his twisting muscles. His tentacles drop off onto the floor where they writhe and flex. Two stumps slowly push themselves out from the side of his body. His donkey-headed features crush themselves inward, with bones splintering out of his flesh. The stumps on his body push outward and start to form into arms. His rubbery octopus flesh slides off his muscle mass and he flops onto the floor. He arches his back as the last of his bones snap and crack into place, and his gristle-covered muscles excrete grey goo, which slowly covers him and forms a leathery skin. His arms grow further and split at the ends to form giant claws with glistening body slime on them. His fragmented head has forced his new features to form, and he views the gang through his new eyes. He stands before them, every inch the original Efuhofcn, and he expectantly awaits their recognition. The leader looks at him for a while.
Nah! Still don't recognize you.
You gotta be kidding me.
Only joking. It is so good to see you, Efuhofcn. What happened to you? I thought you were lost in the void.
We were lost, but we fought our way back. We had many battles and struggles, and...
Where is the Hufk? I miss that big guy.
Interrupts the leader.
Where is he? He's here,
he says while looking at Dwarfig. The leader looks at him blankly. Dwarfig nods at Efuhofcn reluctantly and grimaces. The big demon slowly pushes his ears so they're slightly less pointy and forces his cheeks to be a bit less deep. After this great effort, he looks over at the leader, but the leader is still looking blankly at him. Dwarfig shakes his head determinedly and forces his collar to change from red to brown. Immediately, the leader recognizes him and smiles.
The Hufk, I miss you.
The two demons hug hard, and the other demons rush over and hug him too. They have a big group hug with much laughing and celebrating. Efuhofcn stands on the outside of this, looking uncomfortable and pretending to examine the rubble. When Dwarfig and his friends have finally finished getting reacquainted, the leader comes back and speaks to Efuhofcn.
So you want us to rejoin you?
Efuhofcn nods in reply.
I'm not so sure that would be a good move for us. Things are different now. You obviously have nothing, and we'd be going up in direct opposition to the rebel leaders, who have the support of everyone here. To be fair, they're not doing a bad job. Everyone gets to do what they want, and there's no fuss. I mean, there's even a campaign or something with a march to get us our rights back.
Your rights? Never mind your rights, they're a waste of time. What is important is that we have a chance to get back into power by fighting and winning a war against the temple of the killer tiger monkeys.
The temple is here?
Yes, they are, and we have the upper hand. We can and will beat them when we next face them on the battlefield. But we need troops, and you and your gang are very fierce warriors. When we beat them, we will prove ourselves as the real leaders of the demons, and the others will flock to us. We will drain the rebel leaders of their soldiers. You will be a part of that, like you were back in the camp.
How can we beat the temple? They are immensely powerful foes who have bested demons repeatedly in the past. Why would we want to get involved with that? It's not worth it.
But it is. The temple is weak, very weak. We have numerous spies in there, and they tell us everything that happens. We will know when they are to attack and how it will happen. They are ripe for an ambush. It will be an easy victory for us.
Well, I'm not sure about all this, but if what you're saying is true, then it would be interesting to see how things will pan out. So for now, I will pledge our allegiance to you, once again.
That is warmly received news, and I will not forget how you came to...
Hufk! We are a team again!
Interrupts the leader, who rushes over to hug the big demon again. The other gang members all cheer and group hug Dwarfig once more. Efuhofcn doesn't bother finishing his sentence and awkwardly looks at the rubble again.
Yes, very nice rubble,
he says to himself. The chief executive slips out of his office and creeps down the corridor. He carefully looks around him as he walks, as if watching to see if he's being followed. Eventually he reaches the toilet area and stops outside the doors. He looks at the gents' door and then at the ladies' door. Taking a deep breath, he goes to the ladies' door and slowly opens it.
Hello, is there anybody in here?
There's no reply.
Any ladies in here?
There is still no reply.
Any Illuminati here?
It is silent. He is satisfied that no one is in there and relaxes a little. Pushing the door open, he gives one last glance down the corridor, then slips inside the ladies' toilet. Inside, he marvels at how the ladies' toilets are much cleaner and nicer than the gents'. He looks over at some air fresheners and sniffs the fragrant smell of flowers, and he goes over to a cubicle. He goes inside and locks the door. The toilet itself is really clean. There's no piss splashed all over the toilet seat, no graffiti on the wall calling people gay, and the toilet paper is wonderful, so soft and nice, much better than the gents' toilet paper, which is like tracing paper. He loosens his tie and unwinds. After some time, he has finished his business and feels fully calmed. He opens the cubicle door with a smile on his face and is instantly shocked to see the two Illuminati looming in front of him.
Now, you naughty boy. You've been using the ladies' toilets to avoid us, I see.
Says the left Illuminati.
Using the ladies' toilets? That's shameful.
That's right, Illuminati. The stunned chief exec quickly composes himself as best he can, and he squeezes past the two freakishly tall figures and on towards the basins where he commences to wash his hands. The Illuminati come up behind him and loom over him once more. The sweat breaks out on him and he turns to face them and speaks.
No, I have not been avoiding you,
he says with false indignation.
We've been checking every male toilet in the city looking for you.
We visited the toilets in parks, hospitals, shopping centres, in fact, everywhere.
And all along you were right here under our noses, using the ladies.
Very sneaky.
Yes, very sneaky indeed.
No, it's not sneaky at all. I'm compiling an important report to see if these toilets are correct to council standards, and I wanted to do it in an impromptu investigation on the tampon machines. And as it turns out, these tampon machines are actually very good quality.
A likely story.
Two Illuminati look at each other and tut.
These tampons from these machines are very good quality. They're very absorbent and also quite comfortable, I believe. Having them here is good for morale and it helps us to be a leading employer of women.
The chief executive nervously replies,
That's all incredibly interesting. We look forward to reading your tampon report. In the meantime, we have some questions for you.
Yes, we do. We have heard all sorts of tittle-tattle about there being a demon march through the city with all the fanfare and attention a march like that would attract.
The sweat runs down the chief exec's face as he hears this.
Are you aware that a march of this sort would invalidate our agreement?
Yes. I am aware of this,
replies the chief exec as he wipes the sweat from his brow.
How can we provide a worldwide cover for these demons if they're blatantly marching through the city live in front of every camera in the area?
When the demon camp broke out, we could provide the cover-up due to all the chaos that happened. But here, there won't be any chaos, as it's an organised march. We are greatly displeased by this turn of events, and are sorely tempted to make you disappear.
But this wasn't my idea. I tried to stop it, but the unions are pushing for it, and my hands, they're tied, okay? Well, I can only control so much in the city.
Exclaims the chief.
The unions? Why would the unions get involved with demons?
The demons have signed up to the unions. They're members now, and they're fighting for their rights.
Replies the chief as his shirt sticks to his chest.
Well, this is indeed a grave development.
Yes, most grave. Do we have anyone in the unions?
Oh no! None of our members would dare join the smelly union. Besides, we normally spend our time trying to destroy them, not join them.
We shall have to nobble them somehow, as this march is gathering momentum, I am led to believe.
The chief exec seizes opportunity to try and get these two robed, malevolent figures on his side.
It's not too late to get this march shut down. I'm working on this issue as we speak.
How so?
My team of exotic demon hunters is already on the job, and they will smash the demon horde, and they will clean up the city before the march can take place. You have my word on that.
Your word means little to us.
Yes, we don't rely on the word of grasping, sweaty little men. But I do hope, for your sake, that your demon hunters are able to crush this march.
They will,
says the chief exec forcibly.
If they don't, and this march goes ahead, there will be major consequences across the board. A cover-up of this size and expense cannot be exposed without there being catastrophic results for those who concocted it.
What we mean is that if you screw us, then we will screw you.
I hope you remember what we did to poor Bruce Tomahawk.
The Illuminati loom menacingly over the chief exec, who trembles with panic. Just then, the toilet door swings open and a cleaning lady enters, pushing a mop bucket. She freezes as she sees the sweaty man sandwiched between two 9-foot-tall men in red robes. She's shocked. They're shocked, and all three scramble for the door.
Perverts!
She screams.
Help me! Perverts!
Illuminati push the chief exec to the floor and barge out through the door. The chief exec picks himself up and finds his exit blocked by the cleaning lady who has grabbed her mop and holds it like a weapon. He tries to rush past her, but she thrusts the mop into his face, blinding him with dirty floor water. He wipes it from his eyes to see that she's now taken out her phone and is taking pictures of him.
You're the chief exec. You're a pervert. I'm going to show these pictures to the newspapers. They'll want to know all about you and two men in fancy dress in the ladies' toilets. What do they call it? Housing? Cottaging?
Look, no, it wasn't like that. Don't tell people I was cottaging. You'll ruin my career. I'll pay money. I'll pay money to keep this quiet. And so, how much? $5 grand?
The cleaning lady is insulted at first, and then grins, showing her nicotine-stained teeth.
5? Not enough. Double it, and I'll keep quiet. Add another 10, and I'll delete the pictures.
She says with a sneer. The chief exec is about to agree when he suddenly remembers that he's the one in charge here.
Okay, now wait a minute. Why have you got a mobile phone on you? You shouldn't be using a mobile phone while you're at work. That's a sackable offense. If you show that picture to anyone, I'll fire you on the spot.
Her sneering grin disappears, and she stares at him. She knows he's got a point, but she doesn't want to let him win.
What if I take these pictures to the police instead? You'll get arrested, and then you'll be the one getting sacked.
She flashes a sour smile again. He thinks for a second about what she has actually captured in her pictures.
You know, all you've done is taken pictures of me in some toilets. It's not an offense for a man to be in the ladies' toilets. How about I speak to the police and tell them that you've been trying to blackmail me?
She looks angry and stares at him, but says nothing. He stares at her and then adds,
Anyway, why am I having this stupid conversation? You get back to fucking work.
He pushes past her and walks out. She watches him go, shrugs, gets a mop out, and starts pushing it along the floor. This episode was brought to you by Cine Downloads, narrated by Dr. Hugh Pincott. Today's episode featured Michael Berryman as Chief Exec, Nicholas Vince as Efuhofcn the Demon, Trevor Neal, and Simon Hickson as the two Illuminati. Other voices provided by Nathan Noura as Cockwang, John Ian Dredge, Louis Thompson as Duifig the Demon, Beverly Griffiths, Brandon Armitage, Flo Ryan, Lee Norton, John Mitchell, Sean Gregson. Written, produced, edited and directed by John Mitchell. Co-produced by Chris Ball Hero. Sound recorded by Louis Thompson, Chris Ball Hero. Sound engineer Andrew Doc Collins. Theme tune by Jed Gray. Thank you for listening, and watch out for the next episode of the Temple of the Killer Tiger Monkeys.